Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Kick Point or Issue. Happy Monday, everybody. Hello, Joe over there. And a bit of an impromptu one for us. My lighting's not set up, not got our proper mics. It's late on a Friday. We fly to Orlando tomorrow. Joe, why have you put this very special episode together for everybody?
Well, I've been a proper snooping, investigative adult journalist. I got whiff of, I didn't get a whiff of Marco Penge. I got whiff of Marco Penge's move or impending move to PXG in the equipment world. So I started doing some digging, got hold of management, etc. I wanted to sort of have a chat and figure out why he's made the move, what he's playing, and just all things equipment. I wanted to be the first to get in there, and I'm hoping we are, so we'll soon find out. So yeah, I had a lovely chat with Marco, and that's all I've got to say, Dan.
Wonderful couple of cracking innuendos in that little ramble from you there, Joe, which I very much enjoyed. So yeah, we'll hand over to Marco now. Apologies for the visuals. Quick Google me, it is what it is, but the content is excellent. Do enjoy, and we'll be back after Joe and Marco's chat.
Right, Marco, what's happened since I last spoke to you? We were at the Belfry. We did What's in the Bag at the British Masters this summer. You've changed tours, you've changed countries, you've changed homes, and now you've changed clubs. Talk me through this last couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, last few months has obviously been a bit hectic. I think kind of since I won in the Spain, the Spanish Open, I think, life hasn't really slowed down, if I'm honest. But all for good reasons, and it's a good thing that a lot's going on and keeps things exciting, etc. But like I said, I'm over in America. I've been here for about a week and a half, so just finding our feet.
Whereabouts are you, Marco? Where have you moved to?
Palm Beach, Florida.
Love.
So yeah, good spot for golf. Nice, safe spot for the family. The wife's giving birth in probably about 6 weeks as well. So yeah,
It's all go. So where will you be doing your practice and your playing over there?
so I'm an ambassador at a golf club called Old Palm.
Right.
So so it's so nice to be able to practice on facilities that are kind of pretty similar to what you'd play on week to week, if you know what I mean. Normally I'm kind of in an indoor studio and it's minus 4 degrees at home, and instead I'm kind of putting on 11 on the stimp greens, hitting off some nice turf with proper golf balls, and being able to hit some chips. So there's no reason why I shouldn't improve, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you've just described the last 2 months of my life testing golf equipment for review season in a cold shed in North Devon. So cheers for that. Talk me through how this switch to PXG came about then. So obviously,
My contract was up with Mizuno at the end of the year, and then like most guys do, when they kind of have a chance, when their contract's up, you kind of want to make sure you're using the best equipment possible and feel like you kind of have the best team possible that can help you improve. And I went over to Arizona probably 3 months ago now, and did a couple of days with the PXG guys there and met the team and saw the kind of headquarters there, which was, the facility there was awesome. So kind of right from the off, I was kind of quite excited about the PXG stuff. I tested other brands at the same time.
that was going to be the next question, because obviously you just moved house. So I presume you didn't have to the first house and go look around at other stuff. So I presume you did.
Yeah, I did.
Runners.
Yeah, I think I tested in total kind of 3 brands, 3 manufacturers, and modern day technology and golf clubs are like nowadays. I think most things are pretty decent. And I just, as soon as I hit the PXG stuff, I felt, that it wasn't that big of a change away from what I was using at Mizuno, and I was seeing some gains in performance there, and the whole team in general, the facility that they have, and being an American company and playing in America, and having the team there every week who, can help me find my feet in America, who have a lot of experience over here. I felt like they had added quite a lot to my team. So yeah, a lot of pros for the switch, and I'm excited to get going with them.
So how does the process actually work then? So you said you went over for a couple of days to Arizona. Dan, who I host this podcast with, actually,
Yeah,
he went to the product launch out there, kept talking about the bad little nine at Scottsdale National, all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
From that. So most people who be listening to this going into new clubs will just go for a fit in for an hour and come out with some specs and make a decision. When you're a top 30 player in the world, I'd imagine that's not
Yeah.
it. You said you spent a couple of days there. So is
Yeah.
it multiple in-person sessions? Then kind of what happens? Do they send you what you came up with and you test at home and then you go back and there's a bit of it? How does that work for a top 30 player in the world?
Yeah, so it's funny. I went on the Monday after I won the Spanish Open, so it was a good time to be testing equipment because I was obviously playing well. Um, so me and my wife flew over on the Monday morning. I did kind of like a day and a half, on the range with PXG. We went out on the course. It was kind of probably a group of us of maybe 8 to 10 people. Um, we did that as kind of the first kind of what side of it, if you know what I mean, in terms of what am I feeling. They don't know me that well, so they were kind of getting to know me as a player and what I like to see and what I like to feel. Um, from then that kind of day and a half, we got quite a lot done, and I felt like if I was to go and play a tournament, I'd feel pretty comfortable in what we got done. So yeah, so I went home, and then they sent them clubs to mine. But even before I went to Arizona, they'd sent a couple of sets of irons and a couple of sets, different types of drives and woods. So, and when they came through, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I like the feel of these and I like the look of it. Like, let's give it. I think we need to go to Arizona and give it a proper testing. Um, so then got back from Arizona. They sent the clubs back to mine. I kind of took them out on the golf course and practiced with them a little bit. And my contract with Mizuno wasn't up until the 31st of December, so I couldn't put anything in play or anything like that. So it's quite a tough situation that when you don't have tons of time to make the decision, if you know what I mean, in terms of because you're always playing, so it's not like you're going to take a PhD club with you when you're playing a tournament, and you're representing Mizuno. So yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of practice at home, a lot of practice with my team, caddy, coach, physio, and trainer. They all kind of had an input in what they thought.
I was going to ask, because you work obviously very closely with Alex Buckner, don't you? He's one of our Golf Monthly 50 coaches. So you work quite holistically, don't you? You're not just
Yeah,
swing coach, but he looks at a bit of everything with you. So is
yeah,
that something you'd go back and forth with an Alex and for input on?
yeah. I would have a conversation with my whole team, coach, caddy, physio, trainer, even manager. You know, everyone would kind of watch me hit them and hear my feedback and see how I'm feeling about it, and then give their opinion on kind of what they're sensing and what I'm saying, if you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, it's a big team decision. I'm really excited to use the stuff. I think the new driver is really exciting. It feels great. The clubs don't feel too dissimilar to what I was using last year, which is the main thing, with a switch is that, I could have gone to someone, like TaylorMade, where it's kind of a 14 club deal and you have to change every club in your bag, where, this is kind of just driver and irons for the first year and just settle my way in, which is good.
That kind of leads me on to my next question around, you'll probably know better than most at the moment because you've just been in the process. But for those who wouldn't know, how would an equipment contract look like for a top 30 player in the world? So I presume, like you say, different companies will have different requirements of
Yeah.
amount of clubs in the bag. But is it like negotiating a football transfer? Is your agent in there? They're pushing for 14 clubs. He's pushing back for 12. Like, how does that sort of work?
Yeah, I think it's, I kind of leave it to my manager, Rob Jarvis at Wasserman. And I think, there definitely is a bit of back and forth, back and forth. Both sides are a business in a way, and both sides kind of want what's best for them, which is understandable at the start. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of kind of to and fro and he wants this and I want this and blah, blah, blah. And then you get to some sort of agreement. And some manufacturers are kind of 14 clubs and you've got to use the ball as well and the glove. Some manufacturers are 13 clubs where you don't have to use a putter, but you've got to use this and that. And some are just irons and some are driver and irons. It's a real variety of contracts out there. And, PXG is very similar to Mizuno with me in the sense of that, last year at Mizuno, I used the driver and the 2-iron and then all the irons from 4-iron to pitching wedge. And that'll be the exact same with PXG for the first year, but I'll be swapping the 2-iron for the mini driver. So I could still have the choice of using my Mizuno 2-iron and my Vokey wedges and my Scotty Cameron putter for this first year. So, there's a kind of like bedding in period that you have as a player at the same time, because at the end of the day, the manufacturer wants you to perform. Obviously, they want you to perform with as many golf clubs in the bag as possible, but they do think about you as a player at the same time as them as a business. So, I feel PXG will be very understanding in the switch I'm making, but what I've seen so far and what I've done, there's a lot of really good, exciting stuff there, and I feel like I'm definitely going to make some little small gains as the season goes on. So,
should we have a little rundown of the bag? Because from what I gather so far, you're in the Lightning Tour mid driver, Secret Rep and mini driver. Is that right? You've gone straight into that? So I remember smashing that burner mini on the range at Masters. I've tested that Secret Weapon a lot. Great mini. Then you've got a new Gen 8 4-iron, the 0311 Gen 8 4-iron, and then the 0317 ST in the 5 to pitching wedge. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I've got 2 options in the 4-iron. So I've got the new Gen 8 4-iron, which, has got some weighting in the back of the head that, makes it more forgiving, launches it slightly higher. Or I've got the 4-iron that kind of matches my set, which, is slightly not as forgiving, launches a touch lower. So, I've got a couple of nice options there.
What about in that driving iron section? Because again, you mentioned that Mizuno driving iron. Presumably that's still knocking about at the moment. Have you?
I'm testing the PXG 2-iron. I've got a couple in the bag down in the garage there with a couple of different shafts in. I really like the feel of it, but again, it's kind of a club that will take a little bit of time for me to make a switch, because that Mizuno 2-iron, I think I've had it since 2021. So
we chatted about it, Alfred. I think you were just coming off Denmark win, I think, was it? When you I just remember some clips of you just fizzing that about 295 through the air. It's not something you're going to give up easy, that, is it?
No, and it's I was struggling to move into the new Mizuno 2-iron last year. I've still got the real old one in there. But after a bit of kind of spending some more time with the guys and doing a bit of tweaking and practicing with the new PXG 2-iron, we'll be able to get it. It's very similar, and hopefully try and make some improvements there. There's no reason why it can't be better than the Mizuno 2-iron if we do the right things. So, it's all, obviously the technology and the club's a big part of performance, but at the same time, it's just as important that the team is, the fitters and knowing what they're doing. And that's probably, for me as a high speed player, that's like a really important part, because I'm not a professional in what we can change and what we can do and all that stuff. I'm just swinging the golf club, and
that's not your job. That's their job, Mark. I leave that to them. I wonder whether, you've got Jake Knapp on the staff as well there, so they're not unfamiliar with dealing with people with speed. So that's probably useful for you as well.
Exactly.
On the exact spec thing, so obviously we've changed a lot of stuff up here. Is it a case for you at your level of just kind of plugging and playing old specs? So, for example, in your irons, we're basically using the same shafts you had in the V10s, I think it was, previously, and we're just flipping head over. Is it like that? Is it just plug and play, or do the different heads require some different
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone that I tested was put them in the same iron shaft. Um, you know, I asked the question of like, look, forget about what I'm using. Would you put me in this shaft? Like, is this what you would like to see?
Roll, alt, delete, start afresh.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And you know, the guys were like, yeah, I think this shaft's, you know, what we're seeing is really good for you. You know, there is definitely a big plus in terms of if you use something for quite a long time and sticking with that, because you know you kind of learn the kind of, I don't know, kicking point and the low point and the kind of feel of what the shaft is giving you, maybe control of your swing. You know, at the end of the day, we're talking degrees in terms of what's quite a big miss for us guys. You know, a couple of degrees for me is a big miss. So you don't want to change too much, but yeah, for me, it's been kind of putting the head on the shafts I was using and kind of going from there really. But you know, I'm a player that's never been kind of fragile to change in a way. You know, I think I won 3 times last year using 4 different putters. It
Yeah.
doesn't freak me out, if you know what I mean. So
I remember as well just with the Belfry when you just literally, you were 4 degrees strong, I think, in your irons before, and
yeah,
you weakened off that week of that win. Do you know you were at loft wise with your new irons, or are you just letting?
it's same loss. I'm at the minute. I'm in the same loss as I was last year. Same loss, same lie angle. Obviously, you know, the more I get to play, the more I start to see whether, you know, I feel like I want my 8 iron to go a little further or a little shorter. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to play much recently because I've been ill. So I'm still fighting that. And, you know, I've just got a week and a half now before I go to Torrey Pines. I'm hoping I can get out on the course in the next kind of 3 to 4 days. So,
Was
yeah.
there any discussion in the sort of change of equipment of the potential change in golf course? Because we hear all the time about PJ Tour being, bigger ballparks, firmer green, need to hit it higher. But that's not something you've ever struggled with, is it? The sort of the distance and height and things like that. Was that ever a discussion in the fitting scenarios?
Yeah. I mean, you know, week to week, there can be some big change. I think the perfect one's actually the start of my season. You know, I'm going to be starting at Torrey Pines, where the air can be thick and it can be quite cold. From what I'm hearing from everyone, and then the week after you're in Arizona, which is kind of in altitude, so the air's thinner. So you know, I'll probably be changing this. I'll probably be playing different driver setup that week, and potentially um, a slight change in irons, maybe in terms of loft, maybe. Um, but it's hard to tell until I get there. It could even be a slight ball change sometimes.
Okay.
You know, I kind of really listen to my instincts, and kind of my self awareness is really strong of what I'm seeing. Sometimes, you know, if I'm seeing it hit a shot and I'm seeing something, and I might say, look, that's launching too high, or that's spinning too much, or and I really listen to my inner thoughts, and then kind of come
Well,
up with a solution.
a player at your level, that experience does much better than you. Don't always need a launch monitor to tell you that stuff, do you? You can always
No,
a launch monitor, right?
yeah, yeah. I kind of, I'm a real kind of feel based, very self aware, instinctive player. So I just listen to what my instincts are telling me. If I feel like I'm having to get it up in the air, then something's not right in the setup, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm excited to get going. You know, I mean, it's kind of a new chapter for me being in America, playing the PGA Tour, moving here, so, you know, signing with PXG. You know, going to be a father of 2 in a couple of months' time, playing my first Masters. Like, there's a lot of exciting things there. It's a bit of a whirlwind, and you know, it is a bit overwhelming, for sure. But you know, I've got the right things in place to manage all of them things, and I'm just going to enjoy it and have fun. And you know, these are moments that, you know, I dreamt of as a kid, and moments I probably never really. Not that I didn't believe that I could do it, but you know, you sometimes pinch yourself and you look back and you think, wow, like, you know, I'll be playing the PGA Tour. I've kind of completed. I played all the big tournaments in the world of golf after this year. And not many people can say that. So I'm just going to try and remember that and just take it all in.
I think you're absolutely right. There's loads of people externally just excited to see how you get on. I think you're a big fan. We're a very popular player, so I think the general public are equally as excited to let you get on. I'm going to let you get on because I know you've got a very important appointment with the wife now, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So thank you very, very much for talking to us. Have a great year. Let's do this again next year when you've got a major or two on the shelf as well to talk about, maybe.
That sounds good. No, I really appreciate it. Nice to catch up, and it's going to be exciting times ahead, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Oh, good job, Joseph. A massive thank you to Marco for spending some time, and to all the folk at PXG for setting that up for us. Really nice to get him his first what's in the bag nice and early after the new Switch, Joe. I think he was off to go get to a pregnancy scan as well. So yeah, massive thanks for spending some time with us. Thoughts and feelings then, Joe. We spoke on the podcast on Friday that it's a bit of a risk to do this for sure, but he seemed confident. He seemed settled already. What were your impressions after talking to him?
Yeah, I think he's not oblivious, by the way. We had a little chat off. He's not oblivious to, he reads comments on Instagram. He mentioned to me that, I've noticed a lot of people going, "What you doing, Marco? Crazy move, blah blah blah." He's aware of that, but he's got so much confidence in the equipment that he's tested. And he's tested lots, as he mentioned. He did the rounds around the industry. So he's cherry picked this. He's not been forced into anything. This is the stuff that he wanted to play. He's got a lot of trust in the team that he's working with at PXG, the tour team, the fitters, the facility they've got, and their ability to innovate. So yeah, he's my mind's at ease. I'll sleep better as now I'm chairman of the Marco Penge fan club. What an absolute gentleman of a guy. He was just really nice, and it's refreshing. Sometimes some of the players you deal with, sometimes I say that I wouldn't want to go for a beer with a few of them. I'd happily go for a beer with Marco Penge. What a lovely fella.
Exactly. It was the first thing you said to me when you hopped to the call. What a lovely man. I was like, oh, that's good, and I'm really happy about that. Interestingly, he's also on the cover of our magazine this month, Joe. He's on the Golf Monthly cover in his Mizuno gear, which is quite funny. But yes, massive thank you for his time, and really hope you enjoyed that. A nice little bonus tour issue, because you said it wasn't going to come back until February, but we thought we'd squeeze our Marco in there. And so thanks to him, thanks to PXG, thanks to you, Joe, for doing that and putting all of that together. And we are, as you're listening to this show, we're in Orlando. Are you having a fun time in Orlando, Joe, in the future?
In the future, yes, I'm having a great time. Difficult to know what I'm doing in the future, but yeah, having a lovely time. I'm all packed, as I was just telling you. I'm all packed and ready to go. Bearing in mind, we're leaving very early. Realistically, if we're being honest, we're leaving in the morning. You've done absolutely nothing. I'm packed and ready to go. So I'm going to go and have a nice, relaxing evening. You can run around like a lunatic.
Exactly what I'm going to do. We'll be at the PGA show. If you see us, say hello, especially to Joe. Joe, you want that, don't you, Joe? You want everyone to say hello to you and hug you and kiss you on the face. I'll take a picture for you or something. So be at the PGA show this week. If you're there, come and say hello. Other than that, it leaves us to say have a great week. We'll be back on Friday with some chat about some new Tacoma irons and the new Ping G440K. Until then, hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great week. See you Friday.
Love you, Marco.